So we're gonna get into this Boyesen rage cage installation. Supposedly a 5 horsepower gain. I've got a lot of modifications already done to this sled if you've been watching the channel. If not, check out some of the older videos. The engine's built in the top end. I got an exhaust onto it. I've got my airbox modified. You know, this thing works pretty good. So what we're gonna be doing is, first off, you want to get the hood off, and you'll see pins right here. So these guys are on the inside of your hood. You want to take the holder out of the end, slide these out onto your wire harness connector to your hood, this fella, and that'll get your hood off. And also you got these two wire catches, sorry, and that'll get your hood off. Next thing we're going to do is pull the airbox out, which I've already done. The computer's on top of the airbox, so you just unplug your computer, make sure your weather seals stay in place, don't lose them. Unplug your air sensor, and next thing we're going to be doing is pulling the exhaust off. So I didn't want to get too far ahead before I started doing this, so I've got all the springs off except for this one. So I'll get that off and we'll show you the next steps as we go. Alright, so the exhaust is off, guys. There's just unplug your exhaust sensor wires. And now we're starting to be able to see some things. Now, I'm not sure 100% if I'm going to take that Y pipe off. I think I might try to do it without. So my next adventure is probably going to be getting this intake boot off. So be prepared. We're going to take a fuel line off here shortly too. Right there. And we'll soon be in at these things. Alright, so the next step was to get this piece out of the body, which proved to be a little bit difficult. It just sits on the throttle bodies, and as you can see, mine has quite a bit of oil residue into it, which I'm guessing some just seeped through the system from sitting all year, and I started it and let it idle here in the building. I haven't actually drove it, so it's got quite a bit of idling onto it. I don't think this is anything to be concerned about, but we are into the throttle bodies. The fuel line is off, and we're making headway here. So the next step is going to be reach down in this hole and onto the connector to the oil pump for the throttle. And when I get that off, I'll show you a better idea what it looks like, but you just pop it off. It's like a ball hinge. Okay, boys and girls, on the bottom of these throttle bodies you have this press-down line and this press-down line, and believe you me, they are not fun to get at. They are down in the bottom, and this here is your oil shaft that you just pop off down here. So we can now see the reeds. I'm going to unbolt them, pull them out, see what kind of shape they're in, and install the new Boyesen ones. Woohoo! So, electrical connectors off the fuel injectors for the throttle bodies. You can leave this connector on, you can leave the cable on. This does require a pretty good level of patience. So if you've never done this job before, you might want to have a few sit downs. It can get frustrating, but anyway, we're making good headway here. All right, guys, I got it out, and I want to start off by saying this is not stock. I actually did the Boyesen replacement on these way back when I first bought the sled, but as I suspected, we've got a chip here in the corner, and look at the gap. You can see air in between the pedals the whole way across. So this would have really been messing with my air fuel mixtures. These are supposed to be sealed when not running, so as you can see, they were wore out and lived their life. And this is a pretty common thing in two-strokes, so if you guys have never replaced your reeds, you might want to think about doing so. So let's get the Boyesen out here to compare. So right off the bat, totally sealed, as I knew it would be. But let's talk about this. Look, the stock one, this piece separates from that. So you got a gasket here and you got a gasket here. Not really ideal when Boyesen does it with all one piece with just one gasket. So there's a few reasons why this is better. Also, when you look into it, Boyesen has this stack in the center, which the stock one does not. So this is also going to help with the air fuel mixture. So I'm actually very excited that I got this apart and these are totally shot, as I knew they would be. These things here are going to wake this sled up like crazy. So one thing we want to be really keen on is on the bottom of these there's an oil line, and you want to make sure you get that on there and you get it on there good, because that comes off, complete engine failure, trust me. So we're going to go ahead, get the one side in, and then we'll take the other side apart and get it out. All you need is a 10mm bolt, 10mm socket, sorry. There's 6 bolts in it, and you're on your way to making horsepower. Alright, so as you can see, our oil line is on. Now we just got to put it in the hole. Put our gasket in, and away we go. So I got them both out now, and as you can see, this one has suffered some damage as well. That being said, these things have like over 5,000 miles on them, so like, this has been due for replacement. I'm not surprised at what I see here, but I will say, remember I said about having patience? Well, when it comes to getting that right hand bolt out over there, Mr. Man, it's a nice spot to try to work with. So I'm going to clean this side up, get the other rage cage in place with the oil line on it, and we're ready to go back together. Alright, throttle bodies are back in place. Doesn't this thing just look better? Nice aluminum power reed cages. So now we've got to get the oil pump lever on and start plugging stuff back in and finish putting the intake on, and we're on our way to a startup. Not too bad of a job. It went pretty smooth. So absolutely make sure that you get that bracket on for that oil pump, guys. Can't stress it enough. And then you can grab the throttle lever and just make sure everything's moving in there that should be and nothing's binding. So that's what we got. That's what we want. Moving forward. Oh boy, she fired right up. This thing is ready for the snow, boys. Let her come now.